see the McDonald's arches, what the hell do you think?
Oh, they'll be rotted. They'll be gone. That plastic won't last. All right, so let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about what else was in the landscape. This
Uh-oh,
is an amazing book. This is called Stone Age Farming.
hold on a second. We're froze.
Hmm?
We're frozen.
I don't feel frozen. I feel right.
Okay.
All right, so this is Stone Age Farming. And the reason I'm bringing this up is this is Alana Moore. She's a dowser from Australia. And this is her book talking about why would they be erecting standing stones and what does that have to do with agriculture. So this is a pillar of energy, right? With paramagnetic earth in the center of it, coming down, bringing the sky energy or the electrical energy from the lightning, right? And repregnating. So this is the divine marriage of heaven and earth. Laura, are you looking here?
We're frozen. So I'm just telling him to wait for us so that we'll be back. We're having
Michael, are we still frozen?
I don't understand why we're still frozen.
Michael, are we frozen? Michael? Okay, so let's just keep on going and not worry about whether they think we're frozen because there's always a time lag. So I'm talking about right here, the Stone Age Farming. This is a book by Alana Moore. She's Australian, and the function of this in the landscape was to make the connection between heaven and earth. So when we talked about the divine marriage, we talked about impregnating the earth or the seed from the masculine male, which would be the lightning bolt or the cosmic energy coming down and being grounded into the earth, which would be the womb, right? And that impregnation would cause the crops to then be activated, the seed to be activated and to grow. Also, the negative part of it is, or not necessarily negative, but the other way that it would be used is you could store grains and other things in here. And because it was like a 0 point between heaven and earth, then the product wouldn't decay. So you could have grain or potatoes or whatever stored in here, and it would be a neutral zone where decay wouldn't happen. So this is like a giant penis in the landscape, bringing in cosmic energy, right? And so the standing stones were done like that. So you could find a line of standing stones that would lead to a standing circle through the landscape, which would be like weaving the energy across the landscape and impregnating the energy from the standing stones through the landscape and impregnating the earth with the energy for the crops to grow. So that would bring fungisticity and abundance to the earth.
Can I just
So this is
we're
so that's really important. So to know that that's what this is all about.
okay. They stopped.
So please don't interrupt anymore, okay? So because we're recording now. So if we are not on Facebook, I'm recording and we can catch up and splice it together, okay?
Sounds good. Sorry. Keep going.
Okay. So this is why Stone Age farming is the connection between standing stones and sacred sites in the landscape is a way of which to bring fertility into the landscape and ensure that you had a harvest that was good to be able to support you in the community. They also have said that when there's standing stones that are interconnected in the landscape, that you could actually travel on them. Now that's just pretty spooky, but you could literally, because a standing stone is that divine marriage between masculine and feminine. There's going to be a null point or a 0 point in that stone. And when you attune to that, you become one with that null point or the 0 point inside of yourself, then as Don Juan says with Carlos Castaneda, where do you want to wake up? Or where do you want to reappear? Which standing stone in that line do you want to remanifest yourself?
I understand. Okay.
Pretty cool, eh?
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Because one of the listeners asks, could these be portals of transportation or um,
Absolutely.
in and out. Right. So
And
that's,
absolutely, they're, if you activate in a circle of in a group, and we've done this before, and you activate a Merkaba, you created an interdimensional vehicle, a starship, a UFO, or however you want to describe it, where you can visit your home planet.
yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. And well, one of the fun things that we were doing is we were doing these in a group of about 20 people in meditation in seminar. And sometimes when you activate the it's like the ship, it gets a bit bumpy, before you get the energy in sync.
Okay.
And so it got really bumpy. And some of the people got up and left, but it was just the train going by. It was shaking the building. It wasn't really anything other than the vibration of the train. But people went, "Whoa, this is too scary. I'm out of here." Right. So sometimes it's trying to get the energy balance for the Merkaba before you literally lift off. And then it's really good to have an interdimensional navigator, because usually you're on a mission. So sometimes we go and we're being sent to various places to do. Mostly it's usually like we do here as a ground crew on planet Earth. It usually has to do with trapped souls, like some civilization that's trapped in some dimensional reality that can't free themselves because they don't have the energy to do it, or they need some outside energy to be able to do that. So we sometimes send on missions to actually help certain groups of people evolve or get out of the more negative UFO bases that are used for mind control and for genetics experiments with humans, and crossbreeding, and free those people there. It's not my favorite thing to do because it can get a bit scary, and you don't want to get scary because fear opens the door for you to have to deal with possession, right? But it
Yeah.
is important work to be done, and it does take a group, particularly ideally 12 or more around one, to do this work, to do interventional work that you're called to do. So that's a bit about that. And then Alana Moore wrote another book, which is really, really good here, and it's Divining Earth's Spirits, right? Working in the landscape and understanding how those energies flow through the earth and how to work with them. So for example, one of the things we're doing in the geomancy course with boots on the ground is we're learning about, certainly the person who's joining us from Peru wants to know about geopathic stress caught in the energy lines of the earth or in the crystalline structure that adversely affects humans. So this little booklet, it's available at the wellness store, www.thewellnessstore.ca. It's all of $5. And it talks about geopathic stress, which is human trapped emotion that's locked into the energy lines in the earth. And that trapped human emotion can have an adverse effect on the people that live on, and particularly sleep on, that energy line. So if you're on a negative energy line for an extended period of time, the more time you spend on the line, the more a negative impact it has on you. So this is research that's been put together, a research on 11,000 people in more than 3,000 apartments, houses, and workplace in 14 countries. And this is how geopathic disturbances affect sleep, health, and school performance. And simple ways to identify and overcome noxious earth energies, which are harmful effects on health, such as cancer, allergies, arthritis, insomnia, learning disabilities, and many other diseases. So what they found in Europe is if they travel along one of these lines that they've dowsed and found that this is a negative energy or geopathic stress line, they can go from house to house and they can then interview the people, and they'll find that they'll say it has heart cancer, they'll find heart cancer all the way along this line.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do we want to know that? Because as geomancers, as dowsers, we can clean that up, right? We can remove the trapped energy, no different than removing disincarnate beings to the light, there's no reason why we can't clear the energy trapped in the ley lines and transform it into pure divine light, which then brings healing energy to all the people on that line, right?
Yeah.
So these adverse effects, geopathic stress, happen wherever there's been a crime committed, there's been a murder, rape, pillage, sexual abuse, crimes against nature, curses, all of those things or even, incantations where, spirits have been trapped into the earth and bound up,
Hmm.
really scary stuff. And some people, in some traditions and cultures, particularly in Eastern Europe, have that ability to do that. These curses are multi-intergenerational. Rather than resolve the dilemma in a family, you just go to some witch doctor, or, in Africa, it would be, voodoo, and you just have a curse put on that person, which can, literally stop them in their tracks. So part of our work as geomancers and dowsers is to work with clients to clear them from the curses and to free out that energy from the land. So, because what it means is that, if a crime has been committed, so if you go to, particularly say, go to the Middle East, where we have, what's going on between Palestine and Israel, for example, I'll just use that as an example. And that, so generation after generation has gone through trauma. And we
Hmm.
know that trauma is gonna, trauma in this generation can go forward and back, 6 generations back and 7 generations in the future. So that retribution is always going to be there with the children that are born. They're always going to feel that retribution is the only way to resolve this, when in actual fact, the only way to do this is come to peace with it, is to love each other and know that we are all one. But
Yes.
nobody teaches that. So that recurring cycle happens over and over again.
Say that again. That's so important.
Yeah, that if the trauma happens in a culture, that it's going to go back through the generations and forward through the generations. And so they're going to be born into the belief that retribution is the only way to resolve the dilemma of abuse. Now, what happens is when you're abused, whether it's sexually or verbally or whatever, whether that's your culture, your tradition, or your family,
Hmm.
invariably the abuser, the one that's abused, in the next generation becomes the abuser. It's like a horrific cycle that, if you don't deal with underlying trauma, will repeat itself over and over and over again. We see this in Africa. We see this time and time again, where the liberation movement, the person coming from a really heart-centered place to free their country from a dictatorship or from a despot, and then they come into power, but the whole addiction of what it is to be in power, they become the despot, they become the victimizer themselves. And so this is why government is such a deadly concept, right? If government is for the protection of a few to have advantage over the others, like the 1% or whatever percentage you want, then there's always going to be those that are underprivileged that will be petitioning the courts and government to have their power. But the trouble is, they put them in. So, for example, if it's the workers wanting to unite through unions, and the union is a political party, and they come into power, then what they're trying to do is get their piece of the pie. But the only way they can get the piece of the pie is by disallowing other people to get their piece of the pie. Do you see what I'm saying? So that the restitution or the equilibrium in the ruling of the people never gets resolved, because the fundamental principle is it has to be, as in the Constitution of life and liberty, in the Constitution of the United States, is for every person. It doesn't mean one person has a divine right over the other. And when you do that, when you give a certain amount of power to a certain group of people, they're going to take advantage of it, and they're going to think it's their God-given right. So this is really, really important. This abuse happens in our culture. Never mind, Black Lives Matter. This is really serious stuff. This is an addictive cycle that cannot be resolved until we give equality to every human being in a nation state as equal rights. I don't care if you're black, white, pink, orange, multicolored, rainbow, or whatever. if you don't have equal rights through government, then you're going to be petitioning for your rights at the expense of somebody else. Okay.
And can I just bring up the fact that, like, I've talked to people about how doctors talk to them now. Um, I haven't been to a Western doctor in 20 years, so it's not coming from me, it's coming from other people. Where they say, I have to get permission from my doctor in order to make changes in my care. And I'm like, it's taking me aback because I don't understand that thought process of somebody overruling your health and your body and yourself. Because I feel like I'm a sovereign, well, I know I'm a sovereign human being. I make all the decisions for myself for me. I think that that's the same mindset of as giving up rights to government.
Yeah,
It's the same
absolutely.
concept. And wearing masks, and you brought this up in a different show, wearing masks is a form of submission. I won't do it. I won't do it.
It was interesting. I was listening to an interview of a doctor, very wise doctor, yesterday. I didn't finish the interview, what she is saying, again, people wear masks when they feel that they've done a crime and they don't want people to see their face. So, what message are you saying when you put a mask on? Is it that you don't want to be seen for who you are? You can't read another person's face with their mask on. You can't. All of your intuitive abilities to know whether that person is safe to be with or not be is eradicated by the mask. So why are we creating that? And think about this. Why are you running around with a mask on saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe? Why are you giving yourself, if you're creating a world that you live in and you're running around saying, I can't breathe, guess what? You can't breathe, right?
And they don't even understand the intention behind all of this. Is
This is
even
what I mean, that they are giving away their divine right of being able to be revitalized by their breath, because they keep saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And they have a mask on that they can't breathe with properly anyway. So now they have a double problem and they're making themselves sick. And they don't even understand that. So anyway, sorry for all those people that don't understand this.
we digress, but it is
Well,
what
it is, you can use geomancy, you can use sacred uh, structure in the landscape to liberate people, and you can use sacred structure to bind people. And so if you go to Washington, D.C., for example, you're going to have a layout of a capital city according to a geomancy and to sacred design. It's the star, it's the five-pointed star there, which is the path that Venus scribes as she goes around Earth. It's the orbit, and it makes. Now, if you turn that over, you have the symbol of what's used in the coven.
right.
So what I'm trying to say is every power symbol, every technology of transformation can be either used for positive or negative. And this
As
is,
above, so below, always.
yeah. And
That that's where, like, the what do you call those, the people that a lot of them that do the conspiracy theorists will turn what is good over and make it bad and say that it's bad, when in actuality it was created for good. There's words there's a C word that I couldn't possibly ever use on this show, but it used to be back in the day a very good word for people who were spiritualists. And there's the Nazi symbol, which is so horrible in one sense. On the other sense, is so beautiful. Everything has good and bad. My main guide looks like a KKK member, but KKK, that 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 sheet and whatever is horrible. That symbolism is pain and suffering and death and racism and horribleness. But here's beauty and love and graciousness and divineness. And so there's as above, so below, and everything there's good and bad. And when we get past the duality of that, then all the shadows will go away and we'll have peace and love. Yeah.
yeah. So Eduardo's saying conspiracy theorist is a truth seeker. Yeah, the thing that that really what Laura is saying that's so powerful is if you look at really powerful words and you look them up on Google, you're going to have a rock star singing the lyrics, which are totally off center about that concept, or they're going to have a Disney film on it. Or so, for example, if you did look up Stargate, you're going to have a TV show about Stargates, right? You're not going to find what a Stargate's all about. You're going to have a way of conscripting the energy of the concept in a TV, a movie, a song, or whatever of a concept that has so much power and intention in it that it gets corrupted. And
And,
that's really what has
and
happened with those that want to dominate. They've taken concepts and flipped them over on their head
yep.
so that you get the energy misaligned when you use the concept.
Yes, just like our music, right? Just like how they're using different frequencies in our home. We could all be harmonized in our home, but they've made our electrical system in our house bad for us instead of good. It's just those kind of things that just don't make sense to me. Hello, a Facebook user says, hello, has your life changed since you learned how to remove entities from yourself and doing it for people? Is there any dangers with regards to learning to do it?
Yeah, there's dangers if you don't do it.
And yes, but you want to learn how to do it correctly though too, right?
Yeah, but if you don't do it, you're subject to having an open pass to your own body where anybody and everybody can inhabit it whenever they want. And I don't know about you, but in my life, I'm not allowing any piggybackers in my energy field. This is my life. This is my incarnation. I had to go through many, many, lifetimes to be here at this amazing time on this planet. I don't need somebody in my energy field telling me what I need to do or not to do. I have enough trouble with my ego and my mind telling me what I think I should do or not do and getting it to behave itself. I don't need any other Tom, Dick, and Harry from any other ET civilization, discarnate being, or whatever, whispering in my ear that I didn't get it right. Look, if you want to inhabit a body, it's not my body. If you want a body, then go stand in line. Getting a body and incarnating is a privilege. It's something that you earn. Spiritually, you earn it. So look, you're not allowed in my body. If you want a body, pass over to the other side, stay in line to get a body, and then go through the dirty diapers and then show up with me, knock on my door, and we'll have a conversation. Until then, go get a body. Don't
Right.
use my body. So
I
that's how I feel about that. So has your life changed since you learned how to remove entities? You're darn right it has. And as it happened for other people, yeah, I just clear them out. I do it with love and compassion because I know that many of them are scared. They're caught in the trauma of, oh my God, I've been bad, rotten, and wrong in this lifetime. And if I go to the light, they're gonna put me in hell. I'm gonna burn in hellfire and damnation. So it'd be better to hang out here. And some of them want to resolve the dilemma that they couldn't finish at this plane. So they're here trying to figure it out and solve it. But if you can do it with compassion, where you have the angelic kingdom come and meet them, that's going to take them to the other side and going to help them move through their trauma so that they get ready for their next incarnation. And it's a gift that you're providing for them that's beyond all understanding, right?
do.
So
Absolutely.
in regards to learning to do this, yeah, I would say that if you're doing it for an ego purpose, or you're doing it like somebody phoned me and said, oh, well, I was working with a priest and he did an exorcism of possession, but it didn't work. I said, well, just out of curiosity, how much did he charge? $13,000, right? Not 1,300, $13,000. Look, there's,
And it didn't work.
and it didn't work. So, so what I'm saying to you is be really careful in this area. A lot of people, when they do come to me for help, they don't have any money because they've gone to people and said, oh yeah, I can do this. I just want you to repeat this after me or do this. If anybody says they have a silver bullet to make this all right for you, that they're just going to shoot that entity dead and that's done and over with, if they say that you can do an incantation and clear you up, I want you to run. I want
Right.
you to, and phone me. I'll take less money, but we'll get the job done. Why? Because I'm going to teach you, and Laura's going to teach you how to take your power back, and you're going to do it for yourself. So I don't believe anybody can do this for you. That's my personal belief.
Tyson doesn't do it. I don't do it. You do it, and you take your sovereign human being right. And I have so many amazing testimonials from people that will say that what has happened in their own life by doing the deep cleaning protocol, by clearing out all of these things, by unplugging from things that you don't even know are plugged into you, because we aren't all aware as Tyson and I are. I mean, it happened to me. Tyson, it had to have happened to you in order for you to even create this. And so when you're unplugged and you start understanding that you have all of this power of yourself to heal yourself and all this sovereign thing, you can think for yourself and you get messages clearly, then you can make your decisions for you that best meet for you and your family and continue to heal and move forward. Otherwise, you're just stuck in the matrix. And the matrix.
Other aspect of it is you're on a spiritual path and you're growing spiritually and you're doing, and you're in a group where there's actually initiations that you're going through. At a certain point, you're going to be tested, just like Christ was tested in the wilderness. And you need to be able to stand up for yourself. You need to be able to declare that you're a sovereign human being. You have to confront the demons, or however you want to describe them, that are going to show up and test you. That's the way you graduate yourself. So it's not a free pass. You don't get a free pass. You have to stand up for yourself. And it can feel like, and it can be a near-death experience. Okay, that's how serious it can get. So if you're on a spiritual path and you think you're just doing really well and you're evolving and everything, I can assure you at some point you're going to be tested. And that's the time in which you make a decision whether you're going to be a sovereign human being. And most of it is surrendering to the divine or not. And
Right.
that's your test, right?
Right. Well, we have 2 minutes left on the show.
All
And
right.
I apologize for the technical difficulties that we had. Our producer, Michael, did a really good job pulling us back onto Facebook. And this will be live by 11 a.m. Mountain Time on YouTube, where you can rewatch it in its full entirety, as Michael has said. So thank you for being patient with us. We can't help what Zoom and Facebook and YouTube do when we're all connected.
So tomorrow we're talking about divine marriage again.
We are.
Topic.
We are.
Yeah. And don't forget to sign up for Universal Abundance with Divine Mother. It's a 2-hour course. We're going to be finding Divine Mother energies and helping you get out of your own way and raise your set point for bringing abundance and ease and grace into your life. So if you want to join it, the class is always free, but if you want the recordings, you need to pay $33 US. Okay, it's going to be well worth it. 2 hours of being with Divine Mother and being able to play that through again. I mean, Laura, you've always loved that, right?
I love Divine Mother energies. I can't explain it. It's changed my life. So beautiful and calming. And then to get out of your own way to create abundance and be able to manifest things for your life. Come on, people. This is what everybody wants. This is what we're all looking for. The secret uncovered, because the secret was all about materialism, things like getting more TVs or getting a parking space, blah, blah, blah. We tell you how to manifest your life and bring abundance into your life, which means love in relationships, career. It means being able to create abundance for your family, of being able to, go on vacation when you want to, create the career that you want to. I work from home. I've created, my life is wonderful and beautiful because I manifested it for myself and I created it for myself. So this is why Tyson and I are coming together on Friday for this amazing 2-hour show class. Please join us. It's $33 to join.
Yeah, US. And let's call it a wrap. We're 2 minutes over. So join us same time, same place tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, and get your questions answered on dowsing and energy healing. Until tomorrow, be well, be safe out there, and decide whether you really want to wear a mask or not. Bye for now.
Bye.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca. and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.